miles from home, and Nate has gotten a flat tire. I'm trying to pump it up to see, since we are pretty close to home. Back on me. I'm trying to pump it up a bit to see if, since we are relatively close to home, if it'll hold air well enough for us to make it without me having to work on his tire. Because it will be getting dark soon, and it's looking a bit cloudy. It's been looking like it could rain at any moment for quite some time. Now, the other side of things is we have this inner tube that I think is definitely worth saving. It doesn't look particularly beat up or anything, or worn down or nothing, but there is a puncture in here someplace, and it's small enough that I can't even see it. Now, like I said, it sounded like it was near the valve someplace when I was pumping it yesterday. So let's put some air in here. And what would work really nicely is if I had a little spray bottle. So you get a spray bottle and fill it up with some water and soap, just like dish soap or whatever. And then you can just spray it on here. And wherever there's bubbles, that's where your hole is. So I can hear it. Woo, and I can feel it right on my face. There it is. And yeah, it's right next to the valve, right there. You hear that? And you actually can see it now that I pumped it up a little bit. You can see that little dot. And so, but let's pretend like I couldn't see it. And I'm just gonna splash some water on here with a tiny drop of soap. And so yeah, we can, that makes it a lot, oh, sorry. Couldn't really see it. But yeah, that made it a lot noisier. And you can see the mist coming out of it. Yeah, so there we go. So the hole is definitely right there. So it's right there. I'm just gonna use my use my shirt to dry this off a little bit. Take this pen and make a circle, nice big circle around it. Can you see what I'm doing there? And then make a line like that, a line like that, just kind of making a bullseye so you know exactly where this hole is, because it's going to disappear in a second. So now, I've got my Part Tools, what is this, VP-1. This is a patch kit I'm going to use. And it should have some sandpaper. There it is. And now once we start sanding this, it's going to be a lot harder to see that hole, and so that's why you put the marks here. And so I'm going to sand basically all of this area, and then these lines are going to show me exactly where the hole is so that I know where to put the patch. And so you got a few different sizes here. This is a pretty small hole, so I'm probably going to use that small one, because why use bigger than what you need? Still, even though as fast as I said that, I immediately changed my mind because I saw this size. So I can get it out, and I think I'll use that one instead, just to be on the safe side. And that will, for sure, cover that hole completely. So, now you're going to sand this as much as you can. Basically, sand it until you erase the pin marks, essentially, and then keep sanding it. You really want to roughen this up so that it sticks, and get it nice and clean and rough. Now this isn't particularly difficult to do. I mean, especially if you have the kit with you, just takes a few minutes. It takes maybe 15-20 minutes, let's say, it takes to do this. And a big part of that time is just sitting and waiting, because the vulcanizing, the cement that you use to put on the patch needs time to dry. And so this isn't hard to do, but sitting on the side of a really busy road, which is of course where you got the flat, was like on the busiest road that we were on, and it was getting dark, and we hadn't had dinner yet. We had ice cream, but we hadn't had dinner. I'm one of those type of moms. I really didn't want to be doing this, and we live in Detroit proper. It's not always the safest neighborhoods and stuff. Like, I really didn't want to be doing this on the side of the road in the dark. That just didn't seem like a good idea to me. And so even though carrying a patch kit is really lightweight and doesn't take up much room at all, the valuable lesson I learned there is maybe just bring an inner tube, because that only took a couple minutes to put on. And even if I didn't fill it up all the way, there's enough air in this thing at this point where he could ride it, especially for the couple miles just to get home. Just that little bit of pumping, we could have gotten home, or we could have gotten to a gas station and paid a couple of quarters and filled up the rest of the way with air, if I really didn't feel like doing the hand pump, which I would have just done it, or just let him ride like that, whatever. And so from now on, we are going to be carrying an inner tube with us, at least one, in case that happens again. But that's why I think it's so important to learn these lessons now. Like, I'd rather learn this stuff now, when it's not an emergency and we're 2 miles from home getting ice cream, as opposed to trying to get someplace and it's a bit more urgent, or we're farther from home, or whatever. And so now that's sanded pretty good. I left the pin marks showing where the actual hole is. And so now you want to get your rubber cement, which is apparently harmful or fatal if swallowed. So don't swallow this. Sorry, self-vulcanizing fluid. I keep calling it rubber cement. I think it's the same thing. And this is a brand new tube, so the top has that little puncher, and just kind of pierce that. Looks like it got it. There you go. And now I'm just gonna put plenty of it on here. Just and smear that around. You just smear it around all over the place here. Just going to help protect this inner tube a little bit more. And now give it, I don't know, 10 minutes I think is what they recommend. Basically you want it to completely dry. You don't put it on wet. So set it aside, do something else. And so while I'm waiting 10 minutes, I'll probably pump his tire up a little bit more. Hey guys, so in typical Chris fashion, we went on our bike ride, and I completely forgot about this inner tube. So here we are, oh, I don't know, 10 hours later. And, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. I left it outside. The cement is definitely dry. That's for sure. It did get a little bit of dirt and stuff on it. So what I did was I kind of buffed it off just a little bit. I didn't do a ton of sanding just to try to get some of whatever dust and stuff might have been on there. And I'm going to try to stick the patch on. So yeah, I sanded a little bit and then I put a little bit more cement on, and I've waited. It's probably been a half hour. I don't know. And so here's the patch, and you just peel this backing off of there. Like that is just like a, I don't know, plastic or whatever. And it should reveal this nice sticky, depending on what brand you're using, but this is Park Tool brand, and so it's orange backing. And remember, I put those marks on there so I'd know exactly where the hole is. Because once you put that glue and stuff on there, I don't know how well you guys can see that, it would be very difficult to try to find that hole. But I can see my pin marks. Can you guys see them? Yeah, you can see them a little bit there. So you can see my pin marks. So I can use those to find where the hole is exactly. Whoops. I'm not even using my tripod. I'm using a propped up selfie stick because I left the tripod outside. Alright, so let's just stick this on here and see what happens. Alright, I'm just going to press it on. I'm going to hold it on there for a few seconds and try to really flatten that bad boy on there. And I can't remember if I mentioned or not, but when you are applying the cement, make sure you go bigger than the area of your of the patch. So you don't want it to be the exact same size. You want to go bigger, which is kind of, if you were gluing, you typically don't go bigger, but with the rubber cement and all this, with the patches, you want to make it bigger. So theoretically, this patch should be, or this hole should be repaired. Should be. So, what do you say? Want to pump it up and see if it blows up in my face? It's only had like 10 hours to cure. Let's see what happens. This is actually just a ball pump. Yeah, feels like it's going in. I don't feel any air coming out of it. I don't hear any hissing. I think we're good. And Is this tire like brand new? Or is this tube like brand new? No, it's not. But this definitely would have gotten us home if we had to go any further than that 2 miles. So there we go. I'm gonna call this job done. I'll probably deflate this and then just use it as a spare, because you know, just in case of emergencies or whatever. You can also kind of recycle these things. There's, you know, you can make patches from old inner tubes. You can make like little ties and things like that. I've heard of people using them to do like little repairs and things like that. So it's you know, it's a nice vinyl or rubber or whatever it is. So I think that's the end of this video. Here's how to change your tire, or change your tube, patch up a tube. This is one of those basic skills that's really going to save your butt and is probably going to be the repair and maintenance thing that you do the most. I would say. Actually, I find that I seem like I fiddle with the brakes more than anything else. But this is actually the first time he's gotten a flat. Either one of us got a flat in quite some time. Alright, like and subscribe if this is helpful to you. I'm going to do more of these videos on bike repairs and stuff, especially as we need to do them. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.